Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of Ask Mortgage Mike, where I take topics and questions that have been posed to me in the mortgage industry, try to educate you, the viewer, on those topics. So this week we're wrapping up a three-part series of the mortgage application, some qualifying questions that we're going to ask when we go through that. So today there's going to be the last episode in the three-part series. So we're going to start with the question one. Are you now employed in a full-time permanent job? The reason why that question is important is if you're not currently employed, one, you don't have income most likely to qualify unless you're retired. Two, the reason why full-time is important is part-time jobs come with different restrictions. You have to be on a part-time job for a minimum of 2 years to be able to use any of the part-time income. So that's the reason why we ask that question. We need to establish a 2-year history of employment. If you are in school during the last year, so say that you've only got 1 year of employment, you were in school full-time, college the previous year, we would want to see school transcripts or school schedule to show that you were in school, and that's why you don't have a 2-year employment history. So question two is, how long have you been with your current employer? So I kind of touched on that right there. So we need you to have been on the job for 2 years minimum. If you've not been on that job for 2 years, then we'll go back and we'll ask for the previous employer, and we need to establish at least a 2-year history. So we'll ask how long you've been on your current job, and if it's been less than 2 years, we're going to ask who the previous employer was. And if those two combined were less than 2 years, we're going to keep going back until we have a minimum of 2 years experience or 2 years of employment history. All right, so question number three, how long have you been in that industry? The reason why this is important is a lot of people are paid, and we touched on this last week on some of the sales base or the sales aspects of it. If you were a telephone repairman last year, and now, and that's a W-2 job, you had an hour and you've done it for 15 years. Well, then last year you decided that you were going to move into becoming a mortgage broker or a loan officer. Well, we're paid commission. You need to have a 2-year history of commissions in order to use commission income or bonus income, which we previously had touched on. So the reason why it's important to know how long you've been in the industry is because if your industry changes on you, then we've got to establish a tie on why the two industries relate, or you're going to have to wait until you've been in that industry for a minimum of 2 years. If you were recently hired, when did you start? Again, what we're looking to do is establish a 2-year history of your employment. If you were recently hired and you don't have a paycheck stub yet, then what we'll do is we'll get an offer letter until said pay stub arrives. But you will have to have received your first paycheck in order to be able to qualify and use that income. So again, this was episode 14 of Ask Mortgage Mike. If you guys care to, please subscribe to the channel, like and comment below. If there's any topics that you guys want to see in the future, please let me know, and you can do so by reaching out at askmortgagemike@gmail.com. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later.